Hey again, everybody. Welcome back to the Groove Jones podcast, or GrooveTalk, as we've now been branded. It's great to have you all back here. Thank you for joining us. Again, I am joined by Dale Carman, co-founder of Groove Jones, and we have a very special guest today, Andrew Carman. Same last name. We're going to touch on on all of that in just a little bit, but he's our composer and supervising sound designer here at Groove Jones. Every studio needs to have a rock star, so that is who he is. And I'm super excited to get to know you a little bit more, Andrew. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. I started out playing music for a long time. I toured. And my dad, well, yeah, I guess that's it. My dad has always spilled the beans. He's always been in this business and worked with film and animation, and so every once in a while I get a call from him, whether it's a spot for AAA Auto that needs a song, or a new app that he's working on, whatever it may be that needs my touch, songwriting on it.
Yeah.
About 2019, I got a call to do a Modelo spot for Groove Jones. It needed a classical guitar riff. It was a AR mural, where the painting would come to life on your phone, and
Killer.
different stuff would happen. It had a cool, I bought a classical, like a 3/4 size little classical guitar, and put some steel strings on it. It had a really cool sound to it, and so used it for that. And then they asked me if I could do another project, and then another project, and then another
That's how it
project.
starts.
And
That's
it's
it.
been almost 6 years now.
That's crazy. That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's a very cool transition from. Do you still do touring when you have a little bit of time? Do you still play your own music?
I'll play a show every now and then. I still love to play music. My daughter loves music. My partner loves music. I love guitars and guitar amps, so I collect lots of instruments, and playing all the time, and writing and recording. And on top of all the Groove Jones songs, I've probably written 5 songs this year as well of my own. So
He can't be stopped. Yeah, it just Dale, has he always been? This is kind of fun because I get to talk to you about somebody who works actively at Groove Jones, but also you have obviously a huge history with Andrew. When he was a little kid, was he always like this musical? Always, right?
Well, it was just sort of creativity and creation were just sort of default.
Yeah.
So from the very beginning, I mean, me working lots of hours has been happening for a long time. And so in the early days, I have vivid memories of Andrew being, 2 years old. And he was just always with me. So, bring him up to the office. He's sitting on my, my knee, and I'm in front of, a Silicon Graphics Onyx supercomputer working on stuff. And so he was just a part of it. And so, of course, I would show him what I'm doing. I would make everything available. And probably I pushed a little too hard. I remember vividly, he was first grade or something and had a project. And so I'm like, ooh, you could animate it. And so like we worked together, and I was pretty much about, no, you have to do it. I didn't do it for him. I wasn't one of those parents, but I was like, you have to do it. But, it ended up being a rocket that animated. And so I probably pushed a little too hard, and probably burned him out a little bit. So for like once he said wasn't completely under my control, he was very much like, I'm never going to work for you. I'm never going to be in
Famous
the business.
last words.
And I'm going to be a real musician. And he was brilliant at it, or is brilliant at it. He picks up my dad's ability, my dad has this ability of, he can just pick up any instrument, like literally any instrument.
Wow.
never seen it, never touched it, doesn't know anything about it. He can pick it up and he can play it.
Just makes
And
sense to him.
Andrew has that ability as well of just, making music with anything and out of anything, and, picking up songs and writing songs. And, we would have a lot of fun, when he was growing up, of just, of course, anything I did was super corny, but, we would, write songs about everything. And anyway, it wasn't until I don't remember what year we did kind of the first real work. Well, he was also a part of production, so like we did GI Joe. He was a character in GI Joe. We modeled. I don't remember how old you were, but so he's
eight,
always
eight
been,
or 10. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
always been a part of it. And then, like you said, in 2019 or whatever, we had a project. And anytime uh, something would come along and be like, hey, can you, it would be sort of really kind of um, uh, you know selfish on my part. It was just like, hey, I need a song, and I like need it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, can you just make a song for me? And he did one, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's exact, like the client loves it. And I think one of the turning points was he did this song for a commercial, and he got paid for it. And then like the next year he got another check. And
Oh,
I
you got
remember
residuals.
he came to me and he's like, Dad, I think they messed up. They paid me again. And I was like, no, no, as long as it's still going, you're going to keep getting checks.
Yep.
So then this became kind of, the day job, while he was, still, performing and doing all that good stuff.
That's crazy. Well, you have to fuel his guitar buying habit, I'm sure. Like, I know that all too well. If I could pan over here, I have a Les Paul Studio. I've got a PRS Silver Sky. I got a banjo when I moved down to Baton Rouge. It's all downhill, man.
Nice.
What
That's
is your
great.
favorite guitar? What do you got?
My partner bought me one of my dream guitars.
Ooh.
And it's a TV yellow Les Paul with P90s in it.
Mm,
It's in a case in storage right now. We're in the middle of moving houses, but it's just great. It's
yeah.
absolutely amazing. And then I love to, like my dad said, I love to tinker. I've always loved to tinker, like even with audio stuff all the time. I'm constantly
I'm
tinkering.
seeing a family trend here. This
Yes.
this is in the DNA, is what I'm getting.
But I restored an old 62 Gibson amplifier with new old stock parts. And so it's all original. And it is just that Gibson guitar through that 62 Gibson amp is just like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
That's awesome. Yeah, my son I was always playing around when he was growing up, and Dale, I couldn't push it. Anytime I was like, "Hey, you want to learn some chords?" Of course, like, no, Dad wants to learn it. So I had to just back away, kind of just give him some
Hmm.
space. And just this year, he saved up his allowance and bought his first Gibson acoustic. But he still steals my guitar. I still see him going. I have a Guild acoustic in there. That is his favorite one to just steal and tinker. I'm like, got you, buddy. Taking him to Guitar Center, letting him walk up and
Yeah.
down the aisles.
Hmm.
I
It's
just
an
bought a
addiction.
Guild. I just bought a Guild as my new couch guitar, and I can't put it down.
It's a
I
good one,
love
right?
it.
Hmm.
Man, maybe later if we have time, we gotta like break out. Maybe next time we'll have you back and we
Maybe.
can have a little mini jam session. Because I want to hear about, like, this is your road to groove. I want to hear
Yeah.
about like some of your favorite projects. Like I know you did Swashbuckler just a couple years ago. I mean, you've done the audio for every single one of our experiences, especially those really cool. What is it? It's like 5 channel. It's like 5 DOF. It's like speakers, all spatial audio all around us. It's
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
amazing. We did it on Final Four. It sounds just like you're in the environment.
That was a
What
lot
is
of
your favorite
fun.
project? It was a lot. Yeah,
My favorite project. That's hard
I know.
because every every project that I've ever done at Group Jones is the hardest project I've ever done. But it's also full of new, you know, sound creation and exploring. I mean, there's a lot of fun ones. Swashbuckler was fun. We had Sierra on board working with me, and she was a flautist in high school, and I love guitar, and so we did this metal theatrical flute guitar back and forth for Swashbuckler for the
That sounds
final
awesome.
battle, and it was just like
Mhm.
it sits on my desktop, and that's like where it lives because I like to go back and hear that one. My favorite part about Swashbuckler though was um the monkeys were skeleton monkeys on a pirate ship deck,
Mm.
and we're just like, how do we make this sound? We can't figure out how to make this sound. um so we started with like Jenga blocks mixed with dominoes inside of sacks to give them a little bit of life of rattling around. And we were like, man, we
Yeah.
really need those footprints. So we experimented with a dozen different footprints. And this is where I found out that I can create any sound I want. I found some leather gloves, glued some dominoes to it, attached some paper clips to the tips, and was able to play along to the animation and sync up. And it was uniquely unique, and it never took you out of the experience. It helped keep you in
Yeah.
the land of make believe that it was,
Hmm.
made it feel real. Um, I love creating instruments for projects. I create lots of sounds and lots of noises and practical objects for
Yeah.
every other project. So it's hard to pin down, my absolute favorite. I think recently my favorite was I got to compose and direct. It's been a dream. So I got to compose and direct a quartet with my favorite audio engineer, Peter Waringa. Um, oh my, it was so much fun. I hired in Scarlett Deering to um, transpose and write with me, and we worked in tandem, and um, just were able to come out with this absolutely beautiful original score. It was
That's amazing.
that was a lot of fun.
So
Yeah,
it sounds like your favorite project is the projects. It sounds
the
like it's the
projects.
process.
Mhm.
That's and
Yes.
it sounds very much like Dale. You're just talking when he's a kid, like he can make anything an instrument. Now he gets to be a
Mhm.
big kid
Hmm.
and make
Right.
anything an instrument and get paid for it. Like what's
Yep.
better than that? That's amazing. That is
There,
so
there's
cool.
a there's a component to it that you know is really, this is pervasive throughout Groove Jones, but it lives in Andrew and it lives in the audio department. One of the things that I've said forever, whether I was working on animated movies or commercials or interactive things, is that um, sound is half the picture.
100%.
And, it just is so important. As important, one of the things that makes that final product so good is, you know, is the energy that you put into it. And of course, that's kind of goes without saying, but it just drips with the the care and the thought and the love and the passion that you put into something,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it comes out in the it comes out of the speakers. And
Yeah.
if you're not loving it, then you know you can tell.
Hmm.
It
Audience has
is,
the best BS detectors. They
yeah,
can they can see
yeah.
right through you, whether it's
Hmm.
live or whether it's on film pre-recorded. They can
Yeah.
Hmm.
instantly tell, oh, that guy's not into it, or that's fake.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's
that's
Hmm.
your
phony.
approach for making all of these scores. It's basically like, what are you liking? What like literally what
Hmm.
resonates with you? And if
Hmm.
you dig it, everybody else is going to dig it too.
Yeah. What what is what is right for this project?
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think there's even like a right or wrong or better or worse, but it's what feels correct. People like to say, well, is a Marshall better than a Fender amp, or is a Les Paul better than a Telecaster, and it's no, no, no.
It is.
They're all really, really good. It's just, do you need to use this instrument for this, particular vibe that you're going for? Um, do you need to have this particular voice be this character? Do you need to have this, sound effect to convey the message and really get the point across?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is so cool. I remember, Dale, when we were doing Looney Tunes back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
the VFX supervisor on that, Jay Red, really great guy. He would show up in kilts. He was like very proud of his
Mm-hmm.
heritage. He was a great character. And he's now a VFX supervisor on a show called For All Mankind, which is like my favorite show.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
he said, like, because we were so in like doing every shot, right? You're just cranking them out and it's all silent. And he was like, no, 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 just wait until the sound gets back. It makes the picture brighter. And I was a
Mm-hmm.
young artist. I was like, I didn't know what he meant by that. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, yeah. Sure enough, we got that score back from LA and we got in the screening room and we watched it all together. And all of a sudden it's Looney Tunes. It's
Mm-hmm.
bright, the colors are better, the jokes are funnier, and it was all just because of that one missing element. That was the music and the sound design.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened my eyes like right then. Like the power of that is pretty incredible.
Those
Yeah.
older sound effects have a certain charm to them.
Yeah.
Whenever we were working on Acme, it was really cool to just sit there and watch tons of footage of old 70s Scooby-Doo, and really dissect, how did they create that sound? Why did they put that there? Where did that
Yeah.
music hit come from? And it was all, crazy over exaggerated too, and a lot of fun, a lot of slide whistles and boings and pots and
Yeah.
pans falling, and
But you could
yeah.
tell they were real instruments made by real people having
Yes,
fun.
yeah, it was. We did a first pass where, I just grabbed stuff from a library and threw it up so that we could get something out there and figure out what's going on. And the
Yeah.
immediate feedback was, "This isn't right. This
Yeah,
isn't,
it doesn't feel right.
And it wasn't until it was recording uh, pots and pans falling, bringing pots and pans from the house and recording them falling, and running through a old tube compressor, or running the audio back through a tape machine, that like really created that full. There's just so much granular character to audio and so many different directions it can go. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those old cartoons had a certain chewiness to it, where you could,
Yeah.
it was a tangible element,
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite things at Groove Jones. Is anytime that I get you two in the room together, it's such a. You guys have a very similar vocabulary, very similar. Like it's the same wavelength, and it's.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it.
It's almost
I
like
want
we're
to ask you.
related or something.
I know. How did that work out? I want to ask you because like you're so steeped in the tradition of music, the real raw, the texture. You've got real instruments on the walls, and now you're in a world that has like Velvet Sundown, the first AI band that's like tearing up the charts. It's wild, and I know you also have led the way with a lot of our AI voiceover work and things like that for projects. I want to know what's your feeling on it.
I think it's going to go a lot of different directions before it comes back to a head. But I've noticed recently, in the past year or so, a lot of really honest music has been coming out. Very, very minimal auto tune, leave the hiss of the wires and the electrical in the building back in it. And I think you can get really close. I mean, some of this stuff is getting close, and it's going to get perfect at some point. But, as for right now, you just can't fake that human. There's an instant, the uncanny valley. There's an instant turn off where you're like, something
Yeah.
isn't
Well,
quite right here.
And the uncanny valley's
Yeah,
always been visual. Now it's audio
Yeah.
too. You can
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
can just tell.
There's a crazy idea that I had forever and shared in various forums that, and I leave it sort of focused in the visual realm a lot, but but it applies to every realm. And, on the visual side, we've got, red, green, blue channels, and then you've got an alpha channel. And now with our, cool tools, you've got shadow channels and reflection channels and motion vector channels and all of these different channels. But, our software, there's another channel, and our software can't read it. Nuke, one of my favorite tools,
Yep, me too.
has can access all the channels, but it can't read this channel. And Maya can't read it. Photoshop can't read it. But my kids can read it. Andrew was a master at reading it as a little kid. And you can have something that has masterfully crafted RGB channels, um, and I call it the P channel. You can have something that has masterfully crafted RGB channels and a really low P channel, and the audience will be numb to it.
Mm.
You can have something that has really crude RGB channels and a really high P channel, and the audience goes crazy. They love it. The
Yeah.
same thing, applies to music, where I just guarantee you I could just go to any random garage sale and grab the most, rinky dink instrument, give it to Andrew, and he's going to make something amazing with it.
Yep. Yeah.
And that channel, if I had the right tools, if I had the right oscilloscope, if I had the right measurement tools, I could show you that it's there,
Yeah.
and whenever Andrew, part of what happens whenever he goes through all of that effort, gluing, dominoes to gloves, and, the crazy passes he takes the audio through, tape machines and various things. What's happening is every step of the way, this P channel it's embedding into the atoms,
Mm-hmm.
it's embedding into the bits in that P channel. If I could, in both of us, Andrew and I both share a great love for great food, and you can experience it there, where you have something that somebody put this energy and effort into. And if you had NASA measuring equipment, and and then just had a random person working at McDonald's duplicate it, it wouldn't taste the same.
Yeah.
And it's because of that P channel, which is the passion channel. It's the
Yeah.
love channel that embeds into the waveform of the audio. It embeds into the pixels in the visuals, and I kind of think that it embeds into the AI product as well. And there are, and it just boils down to sort of this love, this effort, this intention that goes into it.
Yeah.
And so it won't matter if Andrew's using an AI tool or a, you know, violin from the 1700s. It won't matter,
Yeah.
because it's going to be embedded with this passion. And by the same, and then the same, thing applies kind of in the inverse of it all. The intention and the energy and the effort and the love that you put into it, if that's missing, it doesn't matter if it's AI generated or, you know, or not.
Yeah.
And what will happen is, on the one hand, the AI is going to give us more options. It's going to give us more tools. It's going to give us, and then it will become kind of, what's the creative intent
Mm-hmm.
behind
What do you
it?
have to say? Yeah.
Um,
What do you have to say?
and it's amazing how fast that it's moving. but it's just as easy to, to create just numb, worthless stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it is just like, okay, well, what's the idea?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? What emotion are you trying to evoke? What response are you trying to get?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You
I
can't.
heard a very interesting idea of just that in a world full of like, it's called AI slop now. But in a
Mm-hmm.
world where it's so easy for everybody to make anything that's in their mind, whether or not they actually have something to say, it's just kind of I'm sitting on my couch. I want to see a cat riding a
Mm-hmm.
surfboard, right? But in a world where we can effortlessly share that and flood that, and there's going to be so much new art out there, but it's all AI generated, the human art, or even the humans
Mm-hmm.
behind using the tools to
Mm-hmm.
create this art, that's actually going to rise above because that signal is going to be so much stronger when it's just all
Mm-hmm.
noise. All of a
Yep.
sudden, there's going to be this instinctual like the P channel is strong with
Right.
with Mr. Andrew over there. Like I can
Yep.
feel it. I can't describe it, but I know it in my gut, even though that is the
Yeah.
tool.
Yep.
I fully align with you.
Yeah. The,
The
you know, the,
I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
that the AI product actually hasn't made it into final product or final delivery on the music side
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um, yet. Um, but I think it could. I think it could and get close. But there's still something to be said for the P channel and the whenever the quartet was in the room, the energy was just
Oh yeah.
vibrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby was there taking pictures for us and being a
Gabby's
runner.
our amazing other member of Groove, as part of our social
Mm-hmm.
team. She's fantastic. She put all this together too. She's great.
But she was vibrating with energy and like giggling and squealing with delight before anyone even started, just during the warm-ups. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just, there's something about that human,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
I just don't
It,
know if
it
we're gonna get it. I mean maybe, but
yeah. Well,
It's tough.
what it is that you, it, you can't do without it. And as the, because there have been kind of proclamations of doom just every time something new comes along,
Yep.
and in the music industry, whenever sound recording first came along, it was the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you've destroyed this sacred thing by recording it, and now you're not getting that live performance, and you're destroying, well, until everybody got over it,
Yeah.
to see that the talented person is still the talented person, and now the recording can be shared with thousands of people rather than dozens of people,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we'll get the same we'll get the we'll get the same thing kind of with the tools. um, they'll just be amazing tools that then in the hands of passionate artists, they'll make amazing stuff. And you see it all the time with on the visual side, with AI tools, where you know you get any of our artists at Groove Jones make something versus a regular person,
A
and
normie.
it looks so much better. Why does it look? It's the same tool.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's just
taste. Yeah.
something special
It's
happens.
well, it's the thousand. What was it? It's the 10,000. I don't even actually believe I think the 10,000 hour rule is real. I think like some
Mm-hmm.
people have the ability to get there just a little bit quicker, or they feel it a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Music can be so healing too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think we've all been in that spot where you're just having one of those days, right? But then that right song comes on the radio next and
Mm-hmm.
everything changes and your whole outlook is different. And I don't think it's because of the notes. I don't think it's because of the melody. I think it's because there's somebody on the other end that was also feeling something, communicating, and
Yep.
using a tool, which could be a guitar, could be a theremin, or it could be an AI tool. You could feel the emotion coming through there. And
Yep.
I agree. I don't know, Andrew. I think maybe one day we could get there where we can really, you could use it as a collaborator, maybe, of just like musical theory of just, hey, I have this note at this BPM. Give me a good, like, clarification at the end of this. What would you recommend? In a back and forth. But I don't think a machine can like heal you with with
No.
music. It
No,
has to be a person.
I don't doubt that, I would say within the next year or so, you're going to have producers who are going to be like, I want, this particular model synthesizer making these sounds,
Yeah.
on this. I don't know how to play it, or I don't know where to source it, or I don't own it. And it's going to be a bed on a top 40 song before we know it, an acoustic guitar. But I think if the foundation and the structure isn't there, the
It just all
BS
falls
detector is
apart,
going
right?
to go off really quickly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is that I just call it that numb feeling. It's like, you can have a Marvel movie or kind of fill in the blank superhero movie, and they destroy downtown,
Yeah.
which should be traumatic, right? That should be like, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Like, they destroy downtown, and if you just even just look at it, you're like, okay, thousands of people are dead,
Yeah. I
you
just saw
know,
it right there.
but
Yeah.
you don't care. You're just numb to it. And so I think it definitely will sort of take the opposite turn, where really simple things will have a bigger impact, and just thinking about going to a garage sale and buying a toy, it's like you're going to have, a kid's piano from a garage sale, be
Yeah.
more impactful than a AI synthesized orchestra, because again, of just like, how does it make you feel something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, I'm picking up on a trend here. And I think, Andrew, I think like you feel stuff very deeply, like any artist does. And you have to have a way to, like, you have to make the art. It's locked inside, man. It has to come out. And that can be its own process, but you have to also stay grounded. Do you have what's your favorite non-musical sound outside of work that like really helps you feel grounded and recharge yourself? It's a good question, right?
I'm not sure.
well,
Non-musical
See, like
while
sound.
mine right
while
now is
he's
nature, man. Yeah.
yeah.
Birds outside the
Exactly.
window. It's great.
While he's thinking of the answer, one of the things I was thinking, Doug, whenever you were, talking earlier about, asking Andrew, what his most important project was, or what his favorite project was. There's a quality to Andrew that I think is just fantastic, which is, um, you know, the current one is the favorite one, and it's even more than just the favorite. It's the favorite. It's the worst. It's the end of the world, and
Hmm.
we're all gonna die. Like,
How are we
it
gonna do
is
this?
just this, like, he just puts everything into it,
Yeah.
to kind of an extreme level,
Yeah.
Borderline
where
obsessive.
yeah, where it's
You
like,
kind of need
that
that
was
though. Yeah.
where it's like, well, that was just, we just needed a little thing for this little thing, and it's like, no, he just like
Oh, Dale,
went bananas.
I saw this firsthand. It was like my first big project here with AR basketball. And I
Hmm.
asked Andrew, I was like, man, we need like a good hype song. Like that intro riff of like the 94 Bulls, man. Just that dun, dun, dun,
Hmm.
dun, dun. And I sent you as a joke. I really didn't. I was just throwing it out there. Why not? Get the vibe, right? And Andrew comes back with like just a killer hook that we threw at the beginning of the experience. And it just and I could tell it wasn't a throwaway.
Yeah.
It wasn't something he
Yeah.
just kind of like get
It
that
was
little drop. Oh, that
that was
drop
a,
loop, man.
that was
It's
pretty
great.
good.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
crowd
immediately.
rumbling. That one was cool because music is physical. Audio is physical. It's
Yeah.
it's tangible. And so being able to have the four speakers around your head and then the feeling of the subwoofer shaking the floor while the
Yeah.
crowd is like in the stadium,
Yeah.
that really adds quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's that live music. You brought live music to that
Hmm.
project without it being live, but it was that same vibe, man. It was great. It was my first kind of experience working with Andrew. And all after that, I was like, okay, game on. Next project. Like, I can't wait to. And everybody here at Groove Jones is always so excited to see, like, all right, Andrew's getting some sound design going. What's going on? Let's get the tracks. You're in the middle of it right now, I know too. So like,
Yeah, I've literally been chopping wood for work.
is
Yes.
that a favorite sound? I
Oh,
love a good
I thought about
axe
it.
throw. Yeah, what do you think?
Um, so I've always loved to tinker. I got to keep my hands busy. So of course, every boy has knives, and they love to learn to sharpen it, and
Yep.
some kind of tool or whatever it is they're using. And I've always loved that. Um, and recently, I got into leather making because I've always enjoyed leather goods and that like true earth. It came from the earth.
Yeah.
And there's something about whenever you hold a plastic wallet versus a good leather wallet, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this could last the rest of my life.
Yeah. I'll pass that along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The the sound of running a freshly sharpened knife through a good piece of leather
Yeah.
is something. That's a good one. Can't sleep or can't get my mind off things, and the kiddo's asleep, and Lindsay's back in the room watching her show, and I'm just alone at the dining room table cutting pieces of leather. That's a good one.
You better be careful, Andrew. I'm going to have you do Foley work for this entire this entire podcast because I want to hear you're describing it, and I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I get it, man. That's amazing. Yeah, and those types of things when you're working in the ethereal, when you're working with all of the new tech, it's got to be so important to just like stay rooted to that.
Yeah, we had one project come up, and it was the swaying of a large metal structure needed to be, that was the base of kind of everything else that was going on.
Yeah,
And I probably wasted 40 hours just trying everything and throwing everything at it, and I could hear the sound in my head, but could not put my finger on how to do it.
yeah,
Went to the craft store and found a wooden box, which then I attached a kalimba to, which then I ran spring reverb tanks on, and then I ran a contact speaker so that it could play and have that certain uh, spring reverby vibe, metallic
yeah,
vibe to it. But there was like, you couldn't fake it. You couldn't prompt AI to be like, hey, build this sound that's in my head for me. You could get close, but there's something about the realism, the physicality, the granular
yeah.
nature to a good custom Foley sound effect. It's just like it. I'll keep coming back to that, but
Beyond the prompt, man. You can't prompt an AI.
Yes.
It's got to feel. It's got to know. We've always joked here. Like I'm very visual. So and movies are my thing from growing up. Like watch movies constantly. So my wife and I, we have this back and forth where we kind of speak in movie quotes. And I know a lot of people in our industry like oh, it's kind of like that. And you'll describe a scene, you'll know immediately what that vibe is. It's what is the songwriting process like for you? Like when you're starting and you can't describe this stuff, it's just this feeling. What are you tapping
yeah.
into? What was kind of your guide?
Well, so it started with short story and lyric writing, which then could be translated into music.
Yeah.
But there's a process to it. So my dad got me on this habit, and I've stuck to it since I started at Groove Jones. But it doesn't matter, if you have work that day or not. You show up at a certain time, and then you leave at a certain time, and you're there, and you're ready, and you're willing to receive the muse. And whenever it comes, I used to call it word vomit. And it's just like, you can't grab a piece of paper and a pen quick enough to be able to get it out.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite songs that I've written, and some of the best songs I think that I've written, it took me like 45 minutes maybe
It just comes
to
out.
write it down. It was just like in and out, and then I'm looking at like, 2 revisions on my own and maybe a good revision with the band, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's what came out, and and I can do that with projects by showing up every day and being ready to receive the muse, so that whenever I'm looking at the visuals and sitting here and just like pacing circles and don't know, what to do, and it hits me, I'm here, everything's set up and ready, and it's just like, it starts flowing. And I mean, even some of the best songs that I've written for Groove Jones, there's a week's worth of time of like free and trying out different things, and like, I don't know how to do this, and what am I going to do here, and how are we going to make this work? And then it hits me, and it all comes out in an afternoon. I'm like, here, what do you guys think about this one?
Yeah.
That's it, and then it's just refining that.
It's like you have to have this scary playtime almost of just like you have to be loose and you got to go to play, but I'm sure there's always that fear of just like, am I going to hit it? Like,
Yes.
oh, I've never done this, am I going to be able to find that, and then all of a sudden it's there every single time.
Yeah, I kind of, sometimes I have described it or think about it. There's this moment in The Lion King where Whoopi Goldberg is a hyena, and she's in the cave or wherever with the other hyenas, and somebody says Mufasa, and she goes, do it again,
Yeah, Mufasa.
and it was like terrifying but thrilling, and she's got to look away, but then do it again. And it is just this thing of like, you've got to be light and easy, but also scared to death, but also like, persist at it until it happens, and also let go. Like, it's just this fantastic paradox of kind of impossible things that then, when the magic is ready, the magic happens.
See, and you can't put that on a job application for like, there's no form to like check off, just like, are you comfortable with being terrified? Like, it's not going to ever happen. But every single person that I've gotten to meet at Groove Jones, like from the beginning, everybody, it's not like, oh, I'm terrified. It's like, oh, I'm terrified. Like, oh, how are we going to do this? It's this like willingness to jump into it, and almost like the trust that the muse is going to provide the parachute halfway down. It'll happen, and you just have to take the leap. I don't know how, I get it how you put it into Andrew, given that like he's your son. But everybody here at Groove Jones has that kind of mentality. I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have the fear, you don't care about it,
Yeah.
And we can pick up on that. We've got a few employees, but we're not huge, and you can't really hide anywhere, and you can't really not do anything. And if you don't, if you don't have that passion and that fear and that excitement to like push forward, well, it's pretty easy to pick up on and see around here, because everyone does have such a big energy towards it.
Yeah. And it's not always just like, there's no just jack of one trade here. Like, everybody kind of like has multiple hats. Andrew, I'd love to, like, you're our audio guy, but like, Dale was just mentioning like your love of cooking, food. Outside of audio, like, what are your other passion skills. I know you have a motorcycle. I was
Mhm.
I was really hoping we could see on the past project. What are your outside hobbies besides music?
My hobbies are hobbies. Every
Oh,
hobby
it's a
ever.
collector of hobbies.
Yeah, I collect hobbies as well. Uh, no, my first big love, and I've thought about. There was certain times where I was bad off or needed cash, and I was like, I could do this instead of music. Was cooking. Um, and I think music and cooking have a lot of playing music for someone, or cooking something for someone. It has a lot of the same feelings and correlations. Everyone has a set of ears. Everyone has a set of taste buds. I salted the meat at this time and gave it this much time to sit before I you know brought it up to room temperature, and then held it at a certain temperature for an hour before I hit it with a you know sear. And everyone in the room can taste that the same way as they can hear that, like uh,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
note that you played, or that riff, or that cool intro, or the fade out.
Yeah.
Everyone can taste the
Hmm.
oh, he did this before, made this happen.
Yep.
um I think
It's
Yeah,
I
that
think
it's
cooking
it's
is
that
up there
connection.
really. That one's really high, and there's something about the personal connection with cooking as well. I make
mm,
it a point to eat fresh from scratch dinner, whether it's me cooking it or my partner's cooking it, every night for dinner. And we sit around the table and we talk about our days and put up the phones. And
Break bread, man.
yeah, it's so important, but
yeah.
I look forward to it every day. That's yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, what you're describing, Andrew, and if I like wrote down all those steps, copied those steps exactly, and then had, Amazon warehouse with robots duplicate it, wouldn't be the same, wouldn't taste the same, it wouldn't
Nope.
work,
And they're
you know?
trying. I've seen the
Um,
robots with knives, guys. It's terrifying.
yeah, it, and there's just, it's that again, I don't have any fear or doubt of AI or it's just when we figure out how to carry through the love and the passion and the care,
Hmm.
then you'll get the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and whenever it's pointless and purposeless and um, not with that care, then it won't work.
Yeah.
Um, So it's just, and I know that, um, and again, for me, I just have so many things I want to do and so many, ideas that I want to get out. I have no resistance to any AI tool because it's just simply a way to get it out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. A
know,
little bit quicker too.
a way to realize something which is generally um, never it. It's just another step closer,
Yeah.
It's just like, does that help convey it,
Yeah.
and get me a little bit closer. I'm doing a design project right now, character design project, and I am using every AI tool. And, the result is that where maybe in a past thing would have generated, dozens of images, I'm generating thousands of images.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like trying to find, what gets closer to the idea, and I can absolutely vividly see the moment when Andrew has AI audio music tools that can do anything.
Yeah.
And he'll use those to make a thing so that we can then take that and have an orchestra with, humans, you know, perform it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bring the ingredient. That
Yeah.
missing P channel now
Hmm.
gets infused there, and then it carries
Yep.
on. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And then there'll be somebody in the orchestra that has some crazy, you know, theremin or whatever that they can perform through, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it comes out, you know, and does it. But
It
yeah.
By the
happens a
way,
lot.
I mentioned the theremin a lot because I actually love the theremin. My
Yeah.
son, I got him a cool a couple of Christmases ago. We built together. It was a theremin kit, and
Hmm.
it was very great until he started playing it on Christmas, and then it was his favorite toy, and it's just wee. Oh man, there was a lot of P channel behind there. There was a lot of passion, but he didn't have the skills yet. I I don't know, but Andrew, we're getting towards the end here, and I wanted to do a fun thing for episode 2 as we're figuring this out. And I asked you to bring a story, 1 minute, something like that, and of something from work and some funny story. And you said for me to remind you about the orange. No
Yes.
other context. I really want to hear about the orange.
Cool.
Tell me
This
about the orange.
actually, it actually ties in to kind of what we've been talking about this whole time. But we were working on so like a video game for a conference, in our old building. And I had a audio suite up there. It was upstairs and it was nice and secluded, so we could work, late hours and be able to really um, dig in deep into the audio side of stuff and projects. Um, it was a video game type thing, and uh, you're flying through the human body and blasting uh, bad cells and things you don't want. And we decided it needed a retro vibe. So the creative director on the project, Dave Nigerian, just amazing dude. He worked as a Chicago house DJ for a while whenever he was younger. So he was like, oh man, we have to go Chicago house with this. I was like, great, I've never tried it. Let's make it happen. He showed me a lot of really cool techniques. And we were working late. I had William Wise working behind me in Ableton Live, pushing out beats in real time while Dave was pacing circles around the room and would listen in the headphones and be like, okay, now, yeah, take that part and send it over to Andrew. And I had a big Pro Tools session going and was making stuff happen. And we were just like burning the candle at both ends on this. And what are we throwing everything we had at it? And it was amazing. It was great. It had all the right ingredients, but it was missing something. And I had seen this on YouTube or Facebook and Reels or something like that. But I was like, I have an idea, guys. And we had a really cool synth, 80s synth sound going through there. And so I grabbed an orange from the kitchen and the two leads to my patch bay and stuck them into the orange and had the audio pass through the orange while I swirled the contacts around to get a granular phase, and it just like it put it right over the edge and was like, oh yeah, it's perfect now. This is great. This is it. But it just needed that human touch, that passion channel where we're just like being silly, like throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
And
a little vitamin C doesn't hurt.
A little vitamin C.
That is amazing. Well, Andrew, sounds like Christmas morning a couple years ago, Dale. That's it.
Goodness.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. I was really excited when I heard you had time in your very busy schedule to do episode 2. So thank you so much for taking the time. Dale, thank you so much for taking the time. I know your day is packed. So yeah, until next time, you guys can follow us on. We're now on Spotify. We're on YouTube. They're putting it all out there. Come check out some of our awesome work at groovejones.com. It's full. All the work is made by incredible artists like we have here, Andrew Carman. So until next time, guys. See you later.
Very good.
Thank you.
Awesome.